What is up, good people? Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about Vintage Cube. It's one of my favorite formats, and it returns tomorrow, October 4th. So let's talk about the changes. There's been a few changes, and I want to point them out and talk about them, and let me know what you guys think. So the first change here in white is they are getting rid of Elspeth Conquers Death. And in place, we are getting a prismatic ending. Exile target non-land permanent if its mana value is less than equal to the number of colors of mana spent to cast the spell. This seems fairly situational. I'd rather have the ECD. Personally, I want the ECD over the prismatic ending. If you're playing a lot of colors, then yeah, maybe it's okay. But I want all the other modes on ECD as well, not just what seems like a pretty bad removal spell. Moving on, we have taken out Gideon Jura and put in Glimmer Lens. Again, this is another really like scale back the power um, type of effect. I mean, it does allow white to draw cards, and you do get a 4 Mirrodin trigger on it, but again, it just feels like I want Gideon to finish games if I'm playing white, either Gideon or Elspeth. Next is March of Otherworldly Light for Unexpectedly Absent. Again, I think March was just the better card. It feels like White really caught some downgrades here. And as I go over the rest of these, it really feels like they're slowing down the Vintage Cube, which is weird because a lot of us play Vintage Cube because we like it fast. We like playing with extremely powerful stuff. So let's continue along. They took out Blue Sun Zenith and put in Lorien Revealed. This one I'm okay with. The island cycling is extremely relevant, and drawing 3 cards, getting to 5 mana isn't that hard in Vintage Cube. And Blue Sun Zenith was fairly situational, although it was fun when your opponent was getting low on cards just to deck them with it. But I'm okay with this one. Next, they got rid of the Frost Titan. I believe the other Titans are still in. And I really liked Frost Titan, but and they put in, I can't even pronounce this, of Sea and Sky. Um, Awkward. There isn't. I mean, there's some merfolks, not a ton. This would be great if they had the like the Lord of Atlantis and those types of cards in. So I don't know. I feel like this is just gonna wheel, and it's never gonna get played. Shelldock Isle for Seal of Removal. I mean, Seal of Removal's fine, but Shelldock Isle, man. Like, being able to just put in a big monster or do something crazy when you need it, that was really a great part of Shelldock Isle. So, I don't like this change. Now, as far as black goes, Braids is out for Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. I like this change. Having the prototype really makes it so that you can put it in early if you need it. This is a fairly powerful card. Braids is great if you're playing a sacrifice style deck, but I haven't seen a whole lot of support in the past couple vintage cubes for this card. So it tends to wheel and not do a whole lot. I think the Phyrexian Flesh Gorger will see play. Next up is the Noxious Gear Hulk, which is an okay card. Removal. But I generally don't play it. Troll of Khazad-dûm. I think this, again, is fine. It's a swamp cycling, which is the only thing that makes it okay here. But this isn't a card I'm super excited to play with usually. It'll win some games for sure, but I think there's better things to be doing in Vintage Cube. Next up is Soul Transfer for Sheoldred's Edict. I don't like this. I think the Soul Transfer is great. Well, I wouldn't say great, but it's a heck of a lot better for me than Sheoldred's Edict. The Edict does come into play with the sacrifice of Planeswalker, but this also took care of a Planeswalker, so I don't know. I guess I could go either way on this. Moving on is they got rid of Birgi, God of Storytelling, for Squee. So this is a big upgrade for Red Rocksmith. And this is a big downgrade if you liked playing Storm. Birgi had a secondary side on it, and that's why generally you play Birgi. So, next, Jessica's Will. Out for the Oliphant. I mean, I think I'm fine with this too, but neither of these cards really excite me. In green, we are getting rid of the slime for the Outland Liberator. I think that's okay. A lot of reason people play slime is also to get rid of a land and doing some land destruction things. But I mean, it's fine. The Liberator's a little more aggressive. So I neither here nor there again on this one. The Avenger of Zendikar in for the Sylvan Safekeeper. I think we'll see some people lose some games to the Sylvan Safekeeper. Just having a monster creature and then you have to deal with the Safekeeper. Well, it's hard because they'll sack a land when you try and deal with the Safekeeper. And so I think this is going to be a player. It's going to be a player. So I like this switch. I think this is going to be a fun card. And I think we're going to see Green win some games with the Safekeeper for sure. Thragtusk for a Work Chief. For a Workshop War Chief. I feel like, I mean, the War Chief has Trample, but it's double green. Thragtusk didn't see a ton of play, but a little bit. I don't know. You get a 4/4 Rhino versus a 3/3 Beast. You gain 3 life versus 5 life. Like, there's some big trade-offs here happening. The double green is tough, but isn't really just green the only deck really running either of these. So, I mean, maybe the War Chief is going to be better. We'll have to wait and see on this one. Dragon Lord Atarka is coming out for Arc Trail. I like it. I like it. I love me an Arc Trail. Dragon Lord Atarka was fine. It was really expensive. People, I mean, if you're spending 7 mana in Vintage Cube, you want to be doing something more than Dragon Lord Atarka. So, I'm okay with this one. Huntmaster of the Fails is out for Kogla and Yadaro. Again, 6 mana here versus 4 mana, relevant. The fight is relevant. I think I'm okay with this. I could go either way. I think either one is fine. Huntmaster's just, we're kind of in a world of Magic where Huntmaster is kind of slow, especially in Vintage Cube. So I think either one is fine. You still have the regular Kogla, so either which way. Colorless, getting rid of the Crystalline Giant for Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I think this is fine. I know the Soul Cauldron is seeing some play in different decks recently, so I think that this is an okay change. Foundry Inspector for Mirage Mirror. I mean, I think actually, as I'm rereading this, I like it. I Mirage Mirror becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment, or land until end of turn. And I mean, Foundry Inspector was okay, but it just wasn't powerful enough for the artifact decks. I think that this is going to be copying Griselbrands and Atraxas and some crazy stuff. So, I like this. The Mirage Mirror, I like this one. SoFi out for the Lightning Greaves. No. 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 SoFi is a pet card of mine. I have lost to this card so many times, and it is just a fun card. Lightning Greaves is kind of whatever for me. You know, Haste and Shroud. I mean, somebody's going to pick this up, and it's going to win some games. But I don't know. It's just not a card that excites me nearly as much as the Sword of Fire and Ice did. So let me know what are your favorite changes here. They didn't do a whole ton of them this time, which is fine. I like that. But which ones do you hate too? For right now, I think one of my favorite changes is going to be the Sylvan Safekeeper. I think this is going to do some stuff. It's going to do some stuff. Like, you know, the green's not going to have any issues sacking some lands to protect their dudes. And, I mean, when you're talking about protecting a Rofellos, a Craterhoof, all of the crazy things that green has, I think this is the best upgrade out of all of these so far. That and the mirror. I think the mirror is going to do nothing in some games, and I think it's going to do a lot of work. Kind of main deckable, but also just a great sideboard card to have access to. Anybody can have it, and yeah. So let me know what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, 2 thumbs up, please, please, please. All right, y'all have a good night, and we'll be doing some Vintage Cube videos coming up.